Go live. We are just waiting for the green light right now from YouTube, and then we can go live. Looks like I'm having a little bit bad connection right now, but it says we're live. However, it does also say that we are not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, so we'll see if this works out. All right. Okay, so yeah, sorry for the slow beginning. I've been just getting a lot of error messages, and I'm trying to see if I can do anything to speed it up on my end, but I've already changed the bitrate, and there's not really much more I can do. So we'll just hope that the internet stays with us. Yeah, and that's all we can do. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the weekly trade review number 56. It's actually really funny because I thought this was the 1 year long weekly trade reviews, right? We've been doing this for 1 year, but then I just realized that is 52. I don't know how I mixed those numbers up in my head, and I got it right like a few weeks ago. I knew it was 52, but then I don't know what happened. I completely thought 56 was 1 year. So yeah, we're already over 1 year of weekly trade reviews, which is super awesome. But we still have yet to consistently hit this 1K goal, and which is completely fine. We were really close to it just a few weeks ago before the hack, but then my trading average obviously went down a lot when we had those 3 weeks of no trading. So that was 000 per week, which brought down my trading average just a little bit. And then this week we had the biggest loss of the year, about $1,200 loss, which, you know, it happens. It's not really something you are disappointed about because you understand with trading, you win some, you lose some. So, you know, you just take it for what it is. Good news is, though, there is a lot of good trades to review and a lot of really good lessons. So in this weekly trade review, we're going to be focusing, like always, on the lessons, the biggest takeaways, and then we're also going to be diving into the charts, like always. I already have it open right now, where we're going to be learning, or we're going to be checking out, you know, some upcoming swing and day trade positions, because they are just everywhere. And there's been a lot of selling off going on, so there's good opportunities for some really smooth buying, I think, and I'm really looking forward to this week. I also don't have that much planned for this week, so that's really nice too, so I can really focus on trading. Last week was extremely chaotic. I had people visiting. What else were we doing? We're busy on the TradeJournal beta launch, which is coming up. That's going to be really big. Yeah, I thought I might as well do that little announcement. On the 28th of this month, we are launching TradeJournal, the beta. So if you guys don't know, TradeJournal is this Google Sheet that we use for over 2 years now, where we document all of our trades. This Google Sheet we are turning into a cloud version, and if you just want to go to tradejournal.co, you can learn all about it, get on the wait list, and be the first to know about any kind of changes, and also give your feedback on what you want to see inside of a trade journal. Just fill out this form right here, and I will be able to see it, and I will get back to you and answer it as soon as possible. So if you're interested in having a cloud version of your trade journal, definitely go ahead and check this out. It's going to be pretty awesome. So remember, it's going to be a beta launch, so it's not going to have all the features just yet. But we kind of want to just, you know, get the ball rolling and get the news out there and start collecting that real-time feedback. So the launch is going to be on August 28th, just a few weeks away. So a lot to do till then, and that's kind of where I've been spending a lot of my time lately. So little announcement about that. Let's dive right into the weekly trade review. So you can see here, weekly trade review number 56. We had a pretty big dip, about $1,200 down. However, the weeks before that were pretty good. 3K week, one of our first 3K week, which is pretty cool, simply because we have a bigger account size. So that's really nice. Then kind of the 3 weeks of no trading, except this little leftover trade due to the hack. And then, you know, before that, we were we were really building up a very consistent structure. It actually wasn't till the weekly trade review 41 where we had our last negative week. So overall, we've been doing really nice. And I really can't complain. I knew eventually we would hit a week like this. And last week actually made a lot of sense. Last week I was a little sick. I was super exhausted. All my trading was a bit sporadic, even though during the morning watch list, I somehow always called everything out. identified the support areas, called where we would have bounces. The market seemed to do everything that, I was expecting. However, somehow I was always on the wrong side of the trade. I don't know. It's a bit mind-boggling. So it's going to be kind of interesting to review some of the trades today. And I have everything laid out here. Overall, though, our chart is looking pretty solid. If you go over here to our chart, you can see we are still in a pretty nice uptrend. We just have that little dip right here, which kind of looks like a ascending scallop trading pattern in a little bit. So yeah, overall, this is 2019, our chart. This was the hack. This is kind of like that dead little line that we had. And then that, this last week was, a little shaky. So hopefully we can fix that up. And I hope you guys learned from some of the trades we're going to talk about today, because it's going to be, I think, very clear of what I did wrong. I think the mistakes that I made in the last week were just really kind of amateur hour kind of mistakes. So I'm excited that I can at least share them with you. Let's go. So I already have all the trades open. There's one trade that I'm missing. I need to find it still. I didn't add it here, so let me quickly go ahead and open that. There was one last trade, and it was the second to last day trade that I made. This one. So let me quickly open this one. All right, and I think that was everything. So let me go ahead and talk about the first trade, Litecoin. Let me open it up. Okay, first trade of the week. Everything was looking really good. I remember last week on Monday during the weekly trade review, I was super stoked. I was like, we're already up $450. It's only Monday. I'm in a trade right now. During the live stream, I was in a trade. We were up about $100 or $200 in the live stream. And I said, let's just see what happens. And then it crashed really heavy. And I didn't have time to get out as quick as I wanted to. And we lost, I think, $200 on that trade. No. We lost way more on that trade. So let me review the first one first, and then we'll dive into the second one. So this was the first day trade I made right here. I think it was a breakout. I typically don't trade breakouts, but this one was really nice. A 3% gainer. That's typically way more than we have on our average day trade. Our average day trade profit-wise is about 1.8, or is it 1.9%, give or take? Let me quickly open this for a second. Sorry for the slow internet. It's okay. It went down a little bit. It was about 1.9. Now it's about 1.77 is our average winning profit. So if you just come over here, you can tell that 3% is really nice. Let me also just make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so 3%, $450 right off the back. And this is what happened. This is the 1 minute chart. We had a really nice breakout right here. I guess you could almost say this is a breakout bounce, but I basically bought the breakout when we had a little bit of pullback, which is kind of a breakout bounce. So I don't know if I really called this the right pattern. Anyway, we kind of had an ascending triangle right here, which I love to trade. Then we had that big breakout from this area, and then I sold into that breakout. I could have held for just, 10 more minutes and doubled this trade, but you never know if this breakout is going to just be like a little bump to the upside and then a massive crash down. So taking profits quickly is the name of the game. And if I did that more, I would definitely be much more profitable, because let me show you the next trade. This trade is exactly what I mean by you want to take your profits really quickly. We had another big breakout right here, and then we had that bounce, and then we had this little area, and this looks like nothing, but I was up about $150, $200 on this little bounce, and that is when I usually want to take my profits. However, I was looking for a bit more aggressive of a bounce, and I had my limit order sell right around here at $103 and I think it was 75 cents. We didn't hit that, and then before you knew it, during the live stream, we just started crashing super heavy. And then for some reason I didn't get out right here, which would have been a great time near this former shoulder after my trading thesis is broken. Eventually I did get out, but way too late. Luckily I got out before any continuation of the crash, because Litecoin, as you know it, is about at $86 right now, so it just kept on moving down. That's why you never want to treat a day trade like a swing trade or an investment, because if I was still in this trade, I would be down thousands of dollars. But I luckily got out. Unfortunately, I didn't get out in time, and I traded this one way too loosely. And I don't know if this trade somehow set me off for the week, because if you go over to my next trades, you can see that the chaos continued. Here's my next trade, down 3%. This is a max stop loss. So my stop got me out of this trade and it got me out of my last trade. That's kind of when I have my max mental stop loss. I don't place stop losses because I don't like the fact that, you know, there could be a flash crash and all of a sudden my stop loss is executed. But when I'm down 3%, I get out of the trade no matter what. Because you don't want to be down one day 10% and be just, you know, crying because you're losing so much money. Anyway, this trade was just a little shaky overall. I called it a support line bounce because the support line here was holding really nicely, and it looks like we were going to have one more bounce before a potential break to the upside. I was looking at this as a descending triangle pattern, and that we would have a nice little run up here. Unfortunately, we had a huge major crash, and I really did this one bad because I entered this trade about an hour or maybe even less than that, like 30 minutes before I needed to go to a going away party, which I really just should have not went to if I was either trading, or I should have not been trading. I should have picked one, and I tried to do both. And I was in a rental car when I was trying to get out of this trade. Complete disaster. Didn't have any reception because I have 2G, and I mean, I don't want to blame anything. I'm just telling you guys what happened. Big mistake for me for even being in this trade. And basically when I was trying to get out of this trade, I just, you know, didn't have the reception or anything, and I was just chasing this order down, 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 down. Eventually, I was all the way chasing it down here. Finally, the price popped up, and I got out of this trade. So I lost about $500 on that really bad decision of mine to be trading so late in the day, and also be trading when I knew I was going to be on the road. So really not an okay situation there, and just again amateur mistake. So 2 big trades back to back that were losses. That was about $1,000 down just right there and then. So not a really good way to be on your Tuesday, or was this already Monday? I'm not really sure. But yeah, really tough coming back from that. So we're already down at this point about $500 because we already had that $500 profit. And then if you just move over to the next trade, this is when things got a little cleaner. I had a few more mistakes, a few more scratches, but overall I was day trading a little bit and my profits were slowly coming back up. I kind of got on the horse, so to say. But it wasn't until Friday when I was a little fed up with just my general trading that week, and I was exhausted. I was a little sick when I went into 2 swing trades, and that just really killed the rest of the week. But we'll dive into those in a second. So let's talk about this one. This was a support line bounce again, although you could almost call it a descending triangle pattern, and I'll tell you exactly why. 1.5% profit, beautiful kind of setup on this one. We had an ascending channel kind of going down right here. I hope this is easy for you guys to see, because it's obviously kind of zoomed out. Let me see if it would be easier for you guys to see on this chart. No, this isn't going to really work. It might work, but the problem with this is it's going to be going really slow. Let me just see if this works, because if it does, it's going to be much easier to see these trades for you guys. Let me just slowly go over. I feel like I'm about to blow up the internet if I use this chart too much. This is the 1 minute. That's why I got to zoom out so much. Okay, we're at August 10th. Let me go a little bit further because it's going to be way cooler for you guys to kind of see the price action on these. A little bit further. We need to go all the way to August 7th. So we're almost there. Sorry, guys. I know this is kind of a drag to watch this, but it's going to show you guys a lot more of what's going on, and I think it's going to be beneficial. So I might as well do it. Doop, 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 doop. One more. There we go. Okay, this is where all the action happens. So let's see that load. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit more now. And this chart is also, I'm already 10% zoomed in on this, but I hope this is a little bit clear for you guys to see. So we were coming down here, just like you can see, we're in this kind of descending triangle pattern. And this is, if you can zoom out a lot, and you'll see that this triangle was going on for quite some time, but we were bouncing off some major support levels. And in the chat room, I was writing that there's a good chance we're going to be, having a little crack to the upside, but there's even a better chance that once we do crack to the upside, it's going to be a fake out because there's just so much selling pressure, and I wouldn't put too much money on the fact that this is going to be a breakout to the upside. So you know, I called this one perfectly. I did exactly what I wanted, but then I again traded it down here. So let me just show you guys what happened. This is it. This is the triangle to be looking at right here. These are the two support lines. I traded this. We had a bit of an ascending channel right here where the price was just going down. Ascending channels typically break to the upside. So I entered that as we broke to the upside from the ascending channel. Perfect way to trade it. The price did come back down for a little bit, completely fine. We bounced right back up, and then I sold into that run up into the high. So that was a really overall smooth trade. However, for some weird reason, I decided to get into this trade after I said don't get into this trade right around here, because I don't know, when I was watching the market, I didn't have any patience, and I just entered this trade at really a horrible time. And then just looking at this just makes me upset. So the price was crashing, and I basically caught a falling knife. I like the classic definition. I bought on a support line when there was no confirmation that that support line was going to hold, and not to mention the fact that this was more or less a fake out is a huge sign that the sellers are in charge. If this kind of came up here and then held its highs, and you know, there was constantly buyers and maybe forming an ascending triangle pattern or something like that, that would show you that the buyers are in charge. But this just huge sell-off after a breakout means the sellers are in charge. And for some reason, I decided to buy when the sellers really packed on heavy. The only good thing I did about this trade is that I got out right away, because you don't know if this is going to crash super hard like it did. So I kind of saved myself a lot of downside on that trade. Unfortunately, for some weird reason, again, I decided that it might be a good idea to enter a trade as the support was being tested twice. I called this one, I think, a double bottom. Yeah, so, oh God. So this one, there was huge support forming, and there was a lot of buyers in the order book, and we just couldn't crack this. We tested this area multiple times on a short term, and I thought that we were going to see some big push to the upside, which we actually did for a very small period of time. You can see this last little push, which is very uncommon on these really zoomed in 1 minute charts. Usually once the price cracks here, it cracks pretty hard. So I was pretty confident that we would have a little spike to the upside, but we didn't really get it. And then we crashed again really hard. So I got out almost at the perfect spot. Let me see, this one says 93. Let me see if I accidentally moved that one. 89. Yeah, this one's a little high, but I basically got out right into this little spike at about as good as it gets. So the exit was quite nice. It was a little late, but I got out in one of these spikes at 89. Oh boy, I'm not even really sure what that is. You know, I'm just going to leave it here because this is old news now. 89 is somewhere here. Why did I even touch this to begin with? Somewhere there. We'll just leave it there. Anyway, I got out in one of these spikes to the upside, and when I got out, I realized that we just hit some major bottom right here, and there's going to be a move to the upside. So I re-entered this trade again for a small little profit, you know, $69, nothing too crazy. I could have held it a bit longer, but what is really a big takeaway here is that I was just doing a lot of over trading. I didn't have any patience. I got into a trade right here because I didn't want to miss a run to the upside. I wasn't waiting for a confirmation of a reversal or anything like that. I wasn't waiting for a waterfall pattern. I was just kind of over trading at this point. And then even right after I get out, I entered the trade again for a potential move to the upside. You got to remember, I mean, I'm sick. I'm not really paying attention. I'm just exhausted. God only knows where I was at this time. That just really, you know, if you're ever really not focused and you can't really watch the markets, don't trade. It's something I say over and over again, and it's one thing that saves me again and again. But somehow this week, you know, I try to be a hero or something, and I got stuck in a lot of sticky situations. So that's kind of a little review from how that, what was that? That was like Wednesday or something, how that all went. The next trade, though, I finally kind of made up for it. I placed a limit order right here overnight, and so, you know, kind of a good decision. The price perfectly executed me down here. Let me just quickly see this one. At 65, I think this limit order moved over a little bit. So this was almost a perfect entry from what I remember. Yeah, right around here. So I had my limit order set there overnight. And the reason I set it overnight is because this was a big area where we bounced off the day before. So, you know, I really wanted to have a potential entry here. The price was so far down from its highs. I knew that this was great bouncing potential. So I set a limit order here before I went to bed. I got a perfect execution a little bit later. Unfortunately, the downside of that was I wasn't able to set an ideal exit. Wednesday, I'm going to come out with a video. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be titled yet, but it's going to be my #1 tip for exits, and it's my #1 way in which I'm consistently profitable. And that basically boils down to the fact that I set limit orders right away after I enter a trade. If that doesn't make sense to you, I definitely recommend checking out that Wednesday video. It's going to be coming up just obviously in 2 days. So definitely keep an eye out for that one. But what that means is after I would have entered this trade, if I was not sleeping and I entered this trade, right away, I look, where do I want to get out? It probably would have been somewhere here where we had the last kind of crash, right? I always look for those big shoulder areas because that's where there's a lot of limit orders still sitting there, and a lot of people want to get out those areas. So oftentimes you see something like this where the price hits this area, gets rejected, and then more sellers come back together. So I probably would have been trying to get out somewhere right around here, this 91, 15 probably, if anything. And that would have been a really nice, 2.6% profit, really, really, really quick. Because I would have set my limit order right away. And sometimes when you have something like this, a big crash, you have one of these spikes that go up really quickly. And that is the time you want to get out of the market. Just when you set your limit order ahead of time, you're also forcing yourself to think, where do I want to get out? When do I want to get out? How much do I want to hold this? You're really improving your whole entire trading thesis. So just always be looking for an ideal ideal exit right away. You should never be thinking sometime during the trade, when do I want to get out? How long do I want to hold this? That should be clear in your head at all times. So, and remember, that's for day trading. We're not swing trading and we're not investing. So I like to emphasize that point because those are completely different trading styles. For day trading, you always want to know when you want to get out, and you want to know statistically when you usually get out. And that's why we have TradeJournal, so you can always learn from your past trades. What's up, Monkey Ninja? Thanks again for the nice words. Although this is not my best week, so I definitely appreciate that. Moving along, I hope all this makes a lot of sense to you guys, and I know I'm spending a lot of time talking about these trades, but these are just overall really good trades to be reviewing, and I don't really want to miss anything. Did I open this one twice? Yep, I had this one open twice. Go ahead and remove those. Okay, so now we only need to review my swing trades, and this is where things got really, really bad. Okay, oh man, how do we talk about this? I don't think I really need to, have this chart open right now, but I'll leave it open for now. Okay, so. Oh man, you could just see my recent post. Look how much red is in my recent post. This is as bad. This is like a bloodbath. This is as bad as it's been all year. So I was having a pretty shaky week. I knew I didn't really have time for day trading, and I knew I was a little sick, and I was gonna keep making a little bad decisions. I wasn't like really focused in my head. I didn't have that clarity. So I was thinking to myself, why not? After the market has sold off this much, why not swing trade? Which actually was a good idea, and it could have been a really profitable idea, but the way I went about it was really wrong. And let me tell you exactly why it was wrong. So let's start with XLM. We were basically having a lot of selling off, and I saw that there was a big support area right around here where we previously bounced off of. And this is kind of the classic Adam and Eve formation. Just Google that if you don't know what Adam and Eve is. It's kind of like a double bottom, but where there's more activity right here. And I thought that this was the quick spike down. So that's kind of why I entered this trade as a kind of classic double bottom. Unfortunately, I entered this trade wrong in two ways, and I'll tell you what they were. Where's my water? 1 second. Pause. Michael, I'll answer your question in 1 second. Let me finish these two swing trades, and then I will answer that question. Okay, so Here's really what I did wrong. One of the things I talk about all the time, from my course to just my trade reviews to just Discord chat and just kind of everything, is you always want to have your allocations, right? You want to decide, okay, I have, let's say, $10,000, and that $10,000 I want to day trade, right? So with that money, I'm going to day trade. When I enter a day trade position, I'm day trading. And that was my first mistake. So I used my day trading funds for swing trading, which doesn't sound like a big deal until you understand the fact that sometimes my swing trades last anywhere from a few days to a few months. My longest swing trade was two months, which means if I'm stuck in a trade for 2 months, how am I supposed to be day trading? And then on top of that, so that was my first issue. On top of that, I got way over allocated. I always like to average down during a swing trade. On this swing trade, for some reason, I was overly bullish. I don't know what I was thinking, and I entered the full position on this swing trade. And then the price kept on going down, which would have been a great time to average down because I actually liked where the price was going. And the whole time I was thinking, I actually want to be buying more, but I'm already over allocated and I'm already using funds that I shouldn't be using. And that really kind of made me really edgy on this trade when I should have never been edgy. If I was using, a small fund like my Neo trade and just have it going in the background, I would have never got out of this trade. I would have been averaging down the whole time and I would have been super chill. But as the price was going down, I was thinking, there's no time I have in the world to be holding this trade for 2 months because this is my day trading fund. And that is why I ended up getting out of this trade. Overall, it wasn't a big loss. $400 loss, whatever, it happens all the time. Percentage-wise, 5% loss, which is fine for swing trading. You can see, my winning ratio with swing trading right on this trade was 93%. My average win is 9%. So, this overall, it really just wasn't that bad. It was just the whole reason behind it was really bad. So that really could have been avoided entirely. So yeah, I was trying to get out. I was trying to actually get out in this whole entire area. I kept setting limit orders a little too high and then moving my limit order down, I remember here I didn't move it down enough. It was like my limit order was somewhere here, and then eventually the price crashed and I was like, oh man, this is so annoying. I'm chasing the price. I'm doing everything right now that I know I kind of shouldn't be doing. And then eventually I got out in one of these spikes. Really just a messy situation, because you could see literally a few hours after I got out of the trade, the price is now above where I would have bought, where I bought. So I could have closed out that position, broke even or something like that. So the biggest takeaway with this is simply don't trade with funds that, one, you can't lose, and just understand what you're doing ahead of time. And that's something I really butchered on this trade. And there's almost no point in reviewing the XRP trade because it was exactly the same. I loved this whole trade and I would do it again. I would just do it with funds that were for swing trading, because I would have loved holding this trade for a month or 2 months. I would even still enter this trade. Right now I don't have any swing trading funds because those are fully allocated right now on my Neo trade. Just really kind of butchered the whole thought process. The general trade was okay. And I would do it again. I would obviously, one, I would just average into the trade, and and two, I would just be prepared that this is a swing trade and could take a bit longer. Those were two really, really big mistakes on my end, and just understand that. Don't make the same mistake. Mistakes happen. You lose some, you win some. That's trading in general. You can't really get upset when you lose money because that's just how it is. But what you can get upset about is when you kind of break your trading rules. I didn't allocate my funds properly, and that's really where the mistake came in. So good takeaway. I hope you guys really understand that. Before we dive into reviewing the charts a little bit, then finishing up the Q&A session, I'm actually going to dive into like a mini Q&A session and see what you guys are writing right now. Michael Fitch asked, what do I need to do to get started today? Like, what do I need to do to start day trading? There's a really, really cool video if you want to focus more on day trading that I came out with not so long ago. Let me see if I can pull it up right now. I think it's how to make $100 a day. I posted it about like 2 or 3 weeks ago. This video really should give you generally a good idea of what exactly you need to do to make $100 a day. It's right here, 3 proven steps to make $100 a day. Let me post the link right here. I don't know if posting a link in here works, but I'm gonna go ahead and try that anyway. Copy image. No, copy link location, isn't it? I definitely recommend checking out this video. It should give you a completely good idea of what you need to do to get started. I review all the 3 steps. What are the 3 steps? It's basically first have a strategy, right? Come up with a strategy, and we talk about the strategy in a lot of these videos. My whole entire crypto trading course, you're gonna get a whole entire foundation, and you're gonna learn my strategy. So that's really step number 1. I don't remember what I said for step number 2, but I think it was yes, okay, it was figure out how, like, okay, once you master the strategy, then learn how to take your, profits and make that 1 to 2% or 3% a day, right? That's all you need to be making per day. Try to aim for that 1% a day, because as long as you can make 1% a day, that's all you need. And once you figure that out, all you need to do from there is scale your position size, right? So we started off with a $6,000 position size, and percentage-wise, we were doing all the same trading that we're doing now. The only difference is on why we make more money now is because we allocate more funds to each position. So once you have your strategy, once you've mastered the strategy, you can make that 1%, daily. Then all you need to do is scale your funds, and that's really how you make that $100 a day. Yeah, I mean, you can go back through all the past videos, Michael. I think that's a really good place to start. And if you want to kind of have more structure with all the videos and really learn everything from the beginning, get your whole entire trading foundation, definitely consider checking out the Profitable Crypto Trader course. There's a link in the video description below. Hell yeah, start small until you're a millionaire. That's exactly what you should be doing. Cool, that's really good news. I'm happy you made some money with my wise words. Well, I don't know if they're that wise, but I've been trading for since 2011 is when I first dabbled in the markets, and I learned in equities, and you just learn a little bit every time, right? Don't wait until you have $100,000 to start learning how to trade and invest, because you want to make the mistakes when you have a smaller amount of money, and then kind of grow and learn from your own experience. All right. Very, very cool. Okay, let me review the charts, and then if you guys have any more questions, I will get back to those. So the first thing I want to be reviewing is, we just got to come back over here. Ooh, this is going slow. Let's just review Bitcoin quickly, kind of get a general idea of how the general market is feeling right now. Let's see if this loads properly. This chart is sometimes really tricky to use on the live stream because it has like a 3-second delay on everything I do. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on to the 4-hour. So this is the 4-hour chart. Kind of cool because we see a little bit more of what's going on. These stars, by the way, are some general entries that I talk about for ideal entries. So I didn't place any stars down here, but okay, I'll dive into it. So we're having this descending channel, and descending channels, just like ascending channels, break out to the opposite way. So descending channel will kind of go in this pattern and then break out to the upside and continue that upside momentum. Ascending channels, just like this one right here on a smaller scale, kind of can make a little move to the upside and eventually break to the downside. And typically when they break to the downside or the upside, they have a little break, a bounce back to the trend line before that continuation. So if we just zoom in right here a little bit, you can see we were in this ascending channel, and then we broke down, we bounced off of it, and then we continued the move to the downside. I drew this arrow. I don't remember exactly, but it was sometime during this red candle right here. Eventually we were following this trend line, we were approaching massive support, and that is when we broke out to the upside. And I said, if we hold this area and we kind of bounce off this trend line, this is going to be a great time to enter this as a swing trade, move to the upside. I really should have been swing trading this one. I typically don't trade Bitcoin because I just average into it every week. But this would have been a phenomenal run to the upside. I mean, 22%, that is moving really, really nicely. So I might actually start looking into trading Bitcoin more often because I really like how it moves. It charts so well, and it's extremely liquid. So I could enter and exit positions much easier than, let's say, XLM, which was super annoying when I got stuck in that trade. Yeah, and then we came up here. We were kind of stuck in this pennant pattern. I don't really like trading pennant patterns because to me they're like a coin toss. You know, there's some patterns that like the ascending channel, which are, you know, I think they're like 73% probability, which is much nicer than 50%. So you're really gambling on these situations. You know, to me, I was a bit biased that we would go down simply because pennant pattern after a run up to the upside is not really something that I would ever really want to get into. And right now we're forming kind of an ascending channel again. So this little ascending channel, earlier today, this morning during my watch list, I kind of circled this, put an arrow downwards. I said we might, you know, have this little bounce or break to the downside, a bounce back up before a continued move to the downside. And right now, this blue line is long-term support, long-term resistance. So I think we might crash down here, either bounce off of this or move down a little bit further where there is a lot of support in this area, kind of like 10,600, 10,700 before we see some more support. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. Now remember, guys, this is just straight up guessing, basically based on technical analysis. With trading, you're not trying to really predict anything. You're just trying to acknowledge where there is support and acknowledge where there's resistance and trade based on that, right? You're not really trying to predict anything. You're just always trying to have a trading thesis in mind. Always be ready for something and understand and learn as much as possible. So that's really what trading is all about. I'm going to also review Litecoin just a little bit, and I think that's probably going to be everything. Unless you guys want me to review something specific, we could probably also review actually NEO because this NEO trade is quite interesting, and it's also forming a bit of a channel at the moment. So this is a classic call. See, I was completely wrong on this one. I thought we were going to have a big bounce off this trend line, but we didn't get that at all. So I need to go ahead and fix my trading thesis. But this is an investment trade, not a swing trade. So it's completely kind of fine, whatever it does. I don't really care too much on the short term, but you can just always see like when this didn't hold right here, this would have been a really good time because there was no bounce, right? We kept on getting rejected. So that's when you want to get out of a trade, or you know, don't over allocate and average down, right? So just this swing trade was just these two last swing trades from last week are just eating me alive. I'm going to be live again. I'm live every Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Michael, just stay tuned for that. If you want to see me live, if you want to ask me any questions, you know, I'm always there every Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go ahead and review this last trade, or not trade. I'm not in a trade, but let's just review Litecoin quickly, because Litecoin is one of my favorite things to trade simply because I just like how it moves. I feel like it always moves a bit, has a bit more volatility than Bitcoin. So right here is a perfect example. Bitcoin's down 1.3%, Litecoin's down 3%. So it's always kind of like almost twice as much whatever Bitcoin's doing, which is great for day trading, but it's super liquid. So you could enter a position $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 without really affecting the market too much. Sometimes I see $1 million order just get executed like that, just doesn't really even affect the market that much. So that's a really nice thing to trade because, you know, I don't really affect the market. If I'm trading XLM, sometimes, you know, a $10,000 order will really scare the order book a lot. And that is just really not a fun thing to see. So right now with Litecoin, we're bouncing off this support zone right here. And honestly, this would probably be a pretty good entry. And look for some sort of bounce into this area again, maybe some sort of double top or maybe even a continuation. Let's zoom into a 15-minute. I really like this general support area right here though. Remember guys, anything that I see, any trades that I enter, any trades that I exit, I always post it in the Discord private trading chat room. So always keep an eye out for there if you are a student. So yeah, here's a big thing. Is this support zone gonna hold? It held once, it held twice. Well, actually it dipped under once, it dipped under twice, but over here, we really, once we bounced up, held our highs, this would have been a phenomenal entry actually right here. Yesterday we were driving in a car. I didn't see this at all. This would have been really, really nice though. I mean, look at this. Support zone right here, we broke below it, but then we broke right back above it, not too serious volume, and then we held our highs really nicely right around in this area, and then we came back down and touched this area one last time before we had a huge run to the upside. This could have been a 7% trade, 6%, something like that. I would have got out probably way earlier. I probably would have got out somewhere in this area. 89. Yeah, I definitely would have not held into the 90s, but clean 4 to 5% trade right here. Again, right here, we're kind of approaching the support line again. Always be a little bit more on edge when you approach a support line for the second time. It probably means there's already a lot of people that got chipped away, and there's a good chance that this support line might crack if we come down to it. Now, this isn't like the third time or something, but what you could expect for something like this is for this trade to kind of continue, maybe try to do a little bit, a double top, or have a, close to a double top, and then kind of come back down here again for a short little bounce before we really break to the downside. Maybe have a little rebound here before we continue. So, that's just a general idea. That would be a really quick trading thesis. Whoops, still drawing. Obviously, this is a trading thesis that goes out for 3 days from now, and I would definitely not base any trades off of it, but it's always good to have general ideas in mind, and then always just adjust your trades. The important thing, though, is just drawing these support and resistance lines, understanding where the traders are, the buyers are, where the sellers are, and just make trades with good risk reward. This trade right now, if we enter this trade, which I actually might do after this, has pretty good risk reward, right? You have about 2% downside right here, where you would easily be able to get out of the trade, but I would say there's a good chance that we might have some sort of retest of this former high. So we have about 3, 4, maybe even 5% chance to the upside. So I usually do like to look for something with a bit more 1 to 3 risk reward. This is a bit closer to 1 to 2, so I would just simply take my profits even quicker. So overall, that's kind of what I'm looking for this general trade. So yeah, we'll keep a close eye on this one, and I'll make sure to post this trade in the Discord chat as well. So I think I'm going to wrap up everything for this video. I hope there's not too much buffering going on, because I keep getting warning messages from YouTube that yeah, things aren't looking too good with the connection. But all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. That is everything for this weekly trade review number 56. We've been doing this now 4 weeks over a year, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, we're just gonna keep chugging along. I don't know how many more we're gonna do, but I'll tell you what, we're definitely gonna hit this $1,000 weekly average, moving average, weekly average, moving average. Does that mean make sense? So that's the goal. One last thing, I might as well go ahead and update this while you guys are still here, just in case anyone's curious. But if you guys already want to drop out, I completely understand. Just delete. I gotta also say XRP and XLM swing closed. So yeah, that is, oh yeah, I'm gonna update the date as well. We're just a few weeks away from this all being on the cloud TradeJournal, so that's really exciting. This is the new week, so now if you go over to the chart, you'll see that we're flatlined a little bit. So this is going to be the new week. Are we going to break to a new high? Are we going to hold this $20,000 area profit? I hope so. So one trade at a time. All right, guys, I will see you in the Discord trading chat room. And I'm going to quickly answer Michael over here. Every Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make some awesome trades, everyone, and I will see you Wednesday then for the next video.